What did you hear from the president there? He's outlining his interest in continuing to communicate with Governor Abbott on the state level. How would you characterize that relationship thus far between the federal government and the state government?
Yeah, the president and Governor Abbott have been trading pleasantries and support over the last few days, and this is the latest example of both of these politicians showing that they have strong support for one another. They believe that they're both doing a great job. They want to show publicly that there is that coordination, that the federal government and the state government are on the same page. That's what we saw. We even heard the president say that we're not going to celebrate yet, but we believe that we're doing a great job, and we believe that coordination and that level of cooperation has existed over the past few days as Texas has gone through this major disaster. Obviously, this is a relationship that's going to be very important, and it's going to be one to watch very closely over the next few days, over the next few weeks. As Congress comes back into town, we're going to expect the governor to lay out his priorities and his goals for funding from the federal government as an aid package gets put together. And that relationship is going to be very important as President Trump has to put his muscle behind getting an aid package through Congress, even at a time when Congress has to deal with the budget, has to deal with tax reform, has to raise the debt ceiling. There are a number of different challenges, and having that relationship between the president and the governor of Texas will be incredibly important if Texas is going to get the billions and billions of dollars in federal funds that they need to get through this.
Toluse, the president situating this moment, this storm in history. He said he wants people in 5 or 10 years to look back on the federal government's response to this storm and say, quote, this was the way to do it. Help us understand the thinking within the White House ahead of this trip. Obviously, timing very important here when they decided to send the president there, when he could make this particular trip. But what's the outcome from this they hope to see?
Well, the president is very aware of how President George W. Bush handled the Katrina catastrophe and how he was criticized for his handling from almost the very beginning of that process. The president wants to be seen as very hands-on. He wants to be seen as getting to the scene as quickly as possible. He said on Twitter a couple of days ago that as soon as it's feasible, I'm going to get down to Texas and survey the survey the landscape there. Yeah. We heard from him yesterday saying that he was going to go back to Texas on Saturday. So they want to show that this is a commander-in-chief who is completely hands-on, who's in charge of the situation, who cares about what's going on. Even though, he tweets about all kinds of different things, they want to show that he's physically present, that he's engaged, and he's not leaving the people there behind. So that's the image that they want to get out, and that's part of the reason the president went straight to Texas just a couple days after the storm hit.